Okay, firstly, overview of Petronas. Petroleum Nasional Berhad National Petroleum Limited, commonly known as Petronas. It is a Malaysian oil and gas company. It was established in 1974 and wholly owned by the government of Malaysia. Petronas headquarters is located at Tower 1, Petronas Twin Towers, Kuala Lumpur. Okay, next, the core business of Petronas is petroleum. The primary business activities of Petronas can be divided into international operations, upstream sector, exploration and production of oil, gas, and energy. Petronas Carigali Sdn Berhad, a subsidiary of Exploration and Production (E&P), will explore, produce, and develop oil and gas in Malaysia. Downstream sector, oil refining, marketing, and distributions of crude oil and petroleum products, trading, gas processing and liquefaction, marketing of liquefied natural gas, marketing and manufacturing of petrochemical products, grants, transmission pipeline, network operations, shipping, property investment, and provision of technical and engineering solutions to the World Petronas Group. Vision and mission. As a large corporation, Petronas has its own vision and mission to fulfill shared objectives and give the best service possible to its consumers. As we all know, vision is a long-term strategy that practically every business or organization has. Petronas' vision statement is to be the preferred oil and gas multinational. They hope to become a globally recognized firm and the top choice among all other operations currently present. There are a few of missions that have been set by Petronas. First and foremost, we are legal business entity. Second, our primary business is petroleum. Third, our major obligation is to grow and improve this national treasure. Finally, our goal is to improve the well-being of the people and the nation. Overview the pandemic issues. In March 2020, an ongoing outbreak of a novel coronavirus known as Severe Acute Respiratory Syndrome Coronavirus 2, SARS-CoV-2, was declared a pandemic by WHO officials. Pandemic outbreak of infectious disease that occurs over a wide geographical area and that is of high prevalence, generally affecting a significant proportion of the world's population.
So today I will present about planning of Petronas Chemical Group during COVID-19 pandemic. As a result of coronavirus pandemic in 2020, several businesses have seen instability or collapse. One of the companies that experienced a setback as a result of the OPEC Plus Alliance inability to reach a timely production agreement and the ongoing energy market imbalance that significantly impact global energy demand and oil price was Petronas. Fortunately, the company was able to stabilize itself through careful planning. One of their initiatives is Petronas helping to lower COVID-19 rate and protect workers' health and well-being from COVID-19 exposure. The safety of their workers continues to be their concern. Thus, Petronas is strengthening the precautionary and preventative measures it has in place in accordance with directive of the Malaysian government as well as the host authorities as the COVID-19 pandemic scenario develops. Petronas also showed its support for the Malaysian government's initiative to stop the spread of COVID-19 during this incredibly challenging time for the nation by providing aid to our frontline healthcare providers. The group has coordinated efforts to ensure business continuity and sustainability from the beginning of the movement control order period to the present, while always prioritizing the safety and health of all Petronas employees, customers and partners, both in Malaysia and in the nation where they operate. Secondly, Petronas reduced production costs. They may, among other things, provide a constant supply of gas to fulfill daily demand on the peninsula and East Malaysia with little impact to their activities there, with the exception of the Garak field in Iraq, which started operating again on July 21, 2020. Activities abroad continue virtually unabated. This is evident of their tenacity and adaptability in business. 8 projects in total, by 7 in Malaysia and 1 in abroad. They meet their final investment goal according to OA. Following that, Petronas negotiate deal and open branches in other nations, with the purchase of a 40% interest in the Aru Indonesia production sharing contract on June 29, 2020. Petronas proceed to diversify its global holding. Early this year, it signed into a participation agreement with Equinor Gulf of Mexico LLC for a 30% working interest in Monument Prospect, marking its first involvement in oil and gas production in the U.S. Gulf of Mexico through its subsidiary, Progress Resources USA Ltd. The Monument Prospect exploring well then produced a successful oil discovery for PRU and its partner, one of the first multinational corporations to explore the global market in order to monetize its unconventional supply from the nation is Petronas through its subsidiary Petronas E&P Argentina. Finally, Petronas successfully launched ZURAIDEE, a payment technology initiative. Throughout the MCO settled era, Malaysia's first e-payment option for refilling at more than 700 Petronas stations nationally was acknowledged as a new way to reduce physical contact during the process. Settle currently has more than 1.3 million users, an increase of 21% since the Malaysian government originally announced MCO. Settles become one of the Malaysian mobile applications with the quickest growth when it announced its statewide expansion in February 2020.
Here is Petronas organizational chart. L.R. Mohammed Afroz Asnan as Senior Vice President Malaysia Petroleum Management, Dr. Jaizan Hardi Muhammad Jaiz as Head Resource Exploration, Aida Shabuddin as Head Resource Development and Management, Handan Ramli as Head Production and Operations Management, Muslima Awang as Head Governance and Strategic Relations, Aidit Chi Tahir as Head Integrated Hydrocarbon Management, Shamsul Effendi Dismail as Head Health Safety and Environment, Zara Effendi Zainal as Head Finance, Sharima Johannur as Head Legal, Adiana Masura Muhammad Rez as Head Commercial, and Azhari Muhammad Shuin as Head Strategy.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Iman AMALIN binti AZMIN. Today I will explain the leading in managing the company during the pandemic COVID-19. First, the leading movement control MCO and the standard procedure SOP. The government is always updating the standard of procedure SOP that helps in giving the citizen guidelines in avoiding the virus from spreading. Managers play a huge role in their leadership skill in order to observe their staff behavior toward the standard of procedure SOP, where they need to always stay updated on the ever-changing standard of procedure SOP. The manager also need to observe their sub-unit obedience toward the SOP in order to avoid the further spread of the virus. The most important part is manager should always make sure their subunit is following the SOP that is issued by the government, as a working in factory is likely to spread the virus even faster before the crowded streets. Next, the Movement Restoration Order (MCO) prohibited mass gathering and movement. As a result, many companies are forced to stop their activity with the employer unable to go to the office in order to work. This forced managers to implement online communication instead of face-to-face. This is a challenge for the leadership skill, as using platforms such as Google Meet or Zoom does not give 100% communication effective compared to seeing face-to-face, as it requires stable internet connection to give clear ideas to the employer. Leadership is not always about the power that is held by the manager. Is it also the trait of the manager and their personal characteristics that affect their leadership capabilities? The example of a trait are intelligence, knowledge and experience, dominance, self-confidence, high energy, tolerance for stress, integrity and honesty, and also maturity. These traits are really important in order to be effective in leadership and to influence the employer to give their best on achieving their company objective. Petronas Chemical Group Berhad is a Malaysia-based investment holding company. The company segment include olefin and derivative and fertilizer and methanol. Olefin and derivative segment include manufacturing, marketing of a range of olefin and polymer products, which are used as a basic feedstock for other products to intermediate products, including basic and high-performance chemical. The fertilizer and methanol segment include the manufacturing and marketing of methanol and arranged nitrogen, phosphate, and compound fertilizer. It also comprises operation related to port service, which provide a product distribution infrastructure to the company, as well as activity related to specialty chemical. The company subsidiaries include Petronas Chemical, AMALIN Berhad, Petronas Chemical, Derivative Berhad, Petronas Chemical Fertilizer Kedah Sdn Berhad, Petronas Chemical Fertilizer Sabah Sdn Berhad, and Petronas Chemical Gas Sdn Berhad. However, due to pandemic that has been happening since 2020, leadership skills are put to test with the movement restoration order that has been established in order to curb the pandemic. Thank you.
Next, I will talk about controlling in face of COVID-19 pandemic by Petronas Company. Petronas stand together with Malaysia and the rest of the world in overcome the problem of the COVID-19 pandemic that has brought about unprecedented changes and challenges to business and daily life. We remain committed in upholding our trust to ensure the well-being of our people, with maintaining safe and optimal operation of our business across the value chain. What has Petronas Company controlled in face of COVID-19 pandemic? First, protecting their people, managing their operations, supporting their community, and growing their business. Okay, let me see about protecting their people. Since the onset of the COVID-19 outbreak, Petronas has taken measures to ensure the safety of their employees, implementing several proactive steps that manage the risk of exposure and reduce the risk of transmission. The ways they control and protect their employees included office-based employees, employees and contractor working offshore, retail station employees, and also mental health support. Second, managing their operation. Petronas closely monitors the situation in Malaysia as well as in the countries where they operate. They continue to observe the national and local authorities' guidelines to safeguard the health and safety of their employees and their families. The Petronas Pandemic Response Team has been set up to curb the risk of COVID-19 transmission across all groups' operations. Third, supporting their community. As more segments of society continue to be impacted by COVID-19, Petronas is supporting efforts by the Malaysian government to aid the affected communities. Petronas has contributed more than 100 million towards these costs in cash and in kind, including medical supplies, protective gear, and other essentials for frontliners and other members of communities both in Malaysia and countries of operation. In a bid to foster sustainable financial self-sufficiency amongst low-income Malaysian families, Petronas, through its corporate social responsibility arm, Yayasan Petronas has pledged to reach more than 3,000 families across 8 states in 2 years via the Mekar program. The forms of assistance include providing access to food, clean water, and electricity via renewable energy, upskilling targeted beneficiaries with entrepreneurial traits, as well as ensuring sustainable income stream through network and microfinancing. And the last one is growing their business. In their commitment to ensure a reliable supply of energy to support the daily requirement of communities, business and government, Petronas' priority is to ensure their business operations continue to run safely and efficiently across the value chain. They are working closely with relevant authorities on necessary requirements during these MCO periods and will continue to exercise strict compliance to our health, safety, security and environment standards and best practice. So in conclusion, in short, Petronas has always maintained its reputation to ensure that sales always meet targets or exceed expectations, even in face of COVID-19 pandemic. Petronas is also known as a company belonging to an oligopoly market structure in Malaysia, and the company is wholly owned by the Malaysian government, and Petronas is one of the country's companies that supply oil and gas to consumers. Not only that, Petronas has been developing nationally and globally since the previous few years, because some of its products are used in other countries, not only in Asia, but even in the United States and Europe. Petronas maximize the benefits of its products, so the country have benefited a lot from it. I would like to give a recommendation about Petronas company. In order to overcome the potential impact, Petronas should not over-depend on natural resources like oil and gas to sustain the company future. Petronas is recommended to acquire new market with new product line through diversification. The company could focus on developing green technology, as the environment preservation is key concern of around the world. Petronas is recommended to develop alternative fuels such as converting plastic waste to fuels, wastewater to fuels, and so on, which are considered economical to consumers yet reducing the pollution and damage to environment. Okay, that's all from me.
And here are some appendices.